We are here at the IMC 12 in Maastricht, the Netherlands, and I'm extremely pleased that I can have a talk with Nigel Hywel Jones, which I know for many years, and I think he can have a very interesting story to tell about himself. So, Nigel, can you tell something where you were born, what for kind of mycology education you had, and your present situation?
Well, I think the simple start is the mycology education, which was zero, because it developed later. But I started off. I did my first degree in applied biology, and was expecting to become an entomologist in insect pest control.
And where was that?
That was at Liverpool Polytechnic, which is also where I was born. That's where I come from.
So you're a typical beetle fan.
Yeah,
okay.
I am from that era. I came from Liverpool. It was easy to do my first degree at Liverpool Polytechnic. But then when I was looking around for PhDs to do, I saw this one that was pest control of Simulium using Entomophthalales. I had no idea what the Entomophthalales were. Like I said, I didn't have a background at that time in mycology, but the idea of pest control of Simulium attracted me. So I applied for it, and it was with a professor who I'm sure you know, John Webster, a big name in mycology, and I was offered the opportunity to do this PhD. And when I told people I was going to be working with Professor Webster, they were like, "What, the John Webster?" And I was like, who is he? Professor Webster made me do his mycology course because I had no background in mycology. And I did the PhD over the next 3 years at Exeter University and passed it, got it. And I think it was probably, Rob, about that time I might have met you for the first time at the SIP conference in Brighton in 1982. It was certainly when I first met Harry Evans. The next time that you and I met was in Veldhoven in 1986. So I started on this path then towards fungal biocontrol of insect pests. And in 1986, that got me working at the Glasshouse Crops Research Institute, and that's what got me to Asia. To first off to the Solomon Islands in the South Pacific, but then to Thailand. And with the job situation in Britain after this kind of like postdoc, I had an opportunity to move to Thailand in 1989. I thought I was going to be there just for 3 years to bump up my CV and then move back to the UK. And 35 years later, I'm still in Asia. Asia is home, the UK is a foreign country now. I had 20 years in Thailand to begin with, then 4 years in this magical little Himalayan kingdom, Bhutan, then back to Thailand for 4 years, and now I've been in China for 7 years.
But your love for, let's say, insect fungi, was that developing, or was you immediately struck by this beautiful fungi? I remember that we were in somewhere in a park, and we were just creeping on the floor.
National Park.
Yeah. And there are all these cordyceps popped out of the soil.
Exactly. As I said, at first I was working with biological control, and I moved very quickly from the Entomophthalales to Metarhizium and Bavaria, which we were using against rice pests. And that's when I got more interested in the biodiversity angle and the going into the forest and seeing where these things originally come from. And that's where I guess I started to develop a proper love for the broader insect fungi. And just going back to my PhD, I always told people, no, I'm not a mycologist, I'm an entomologist. I just worked with John Webster. By the end of the PhD, I was telling people, I'm an insect pathologist. In 1993, when I published my first new species of cordyceps, I sent a reprint to John Webster and wrote on it, "Dear John, you win. I'm a mycologist." And he wrote this was the days before email, but he wrote a nice letter back saying, "Dear Nigel, always knew I would win. John."
Oh, that's nice. So you did a very peculiar job in China, developing cordyceps as a medical thing, isn't it? Or
That's the company that I now work for.
what are they doing? Can you tell?
Well, we always think of Cordyceps sinensis, or Ophiocordyceps sinensis, as it now is. The Himalayan one, which is what got me to Bhutan. We always think of that, as the insect fungus that's used in Chinese traditional medicine. But that's only been used for about 500 to 600 years. Whereas there's documented records of this cicada one being used for 1500 years. It's they call it chanhua, which means cicada flower. And with your background with Isaria, it's what we at the moment call Isaria cicadae. So that's what this company decided to concentrate on, because they said so many people are growing Cordyceps militaris. It's too much competition. To grow genuine Ophiocordyceps sinensis is very difficult. And I say that because most of the products on the market really are false. I've isolated it in Bhutan, and it doesn't really grow above 20 degrees centigrade, and it grows really slowly. And yet some people are talking about producing 100,000 litres of it at a time in liquid fermentation at 25 degrees centigrade. And some of the sequencing work that we've been able to do has shown that this is anything other than Ophiocordyceps sinensis. So it's very difficult to grow. So when this company was set up in 2011, they decided to concentrate on chanhua. Now branching out into other groups. And in 2015, they organized the first of what they call cordyforums. Because there's a lot of work is being done in China on cordyceps, mostly from a commercial point of view. So BioAsia started organizing these cordyforums, and I was invited to join one. And then in 2016, I was invited to help them organize. And then in 2017, I joined the company. And as a result of that, I mean, you've met my wife, Rung. Rung and I have been working for the company now for 7 years. But we both think it's nearly time to go home.
And your home is Thailand?
Yeah.
Why is Thailand your home?
That's an easy question, I think, to answer. The fact is, I've lived in Asia for 35 years now.
You're not going back to the UK?
No. I mean, I do like going back, and whenever I do go back, I enjoy it. But the more and more that I go back, the more and more I think it's a foreign country. I'm more comfortable with the Asian way in general. Thailand I know very well.
But I understand you do not eat Thai food, isn't it? You still eat some scrambled eggs.
I'm not going to answer that. You understand correctly. I mean, you've known me too long. Rung is a fantastic cook, but she does steak and French fries for me, or sausage and mash. I can eat Thai food. And it's the same with Chinese food. I can eat a little bit, but I tend to be very picky with my food. I like good quality meat, and Chinese chicken is just cooked and then smashed to pieces, so there's little bits of bone in it, and I don't like that.
Let's talk about the future in insect pathology, because at that time you met, and also with Harry Evans, I think we were building quite a solid base of knowledge on insect fungi. I think I'm retired. I think you're retired, and there are of course several good people. Like Jennifer in Thailand, but how can we try to keep this living? Because it's a shame that we are losing this a little bit.
I don't. Well, I'm trying to help as much as I can. I'm very active on a cordyceps. I'm using cordyceps as a broad thing. I'm very active on a cordyceps website, not website. It's a Facebook group where there are 15,000 members, amateur members.
Wow.
And in some ways, I think that's one of the directions it's going in. And these amateur collectors, they take beautiful photographs, they post them. Some of them say, I think this is this. Others say, can anyone tell me what it is? And I contribute as much as possible as a professional on that. And a lot of people seem to appreciate it, and they even contact me privately. So I think there is a very bright future.
Yeah, I think it's good that probably you should put energy in this, because I'm retired. I have to make choices what to let go. And I think it's nice to see activity in, let's say, cordyceps or other insects. But I cannot handle it anymore. So if you would do this, for example, by a Facebook account, that would be excellent.
Yeah. And I've connected with some good young scientists, Richard Tehan, who's a biochemist with insect fungi. He did his PhD in a biochemistry department at Oregon State University, but also with Joey Spatafora. And I finally met up with Richard at this meeting. I mean, before that, it had all been contact by Facebook. And there's a couple of other people as well.
Joey.
Zhao Arauja.
Yeah, he's very good.
He's excellent. And he spent a month with me and Rung in China back in 2017. And we've stayed in contact ever since then. So I think there's quite a lot of young people coming through. And plus the amateurs. And they, as I said, it's amazing. There's 15,000 on this group, and that's the last time I looked. It could be getting up to 20,000 now.
Yeah. Well,
of course, they're not all active, but
yeah. Well, I'm happy to hear this, because I hope you will stay the driving force in this. And
well, so long as this is working.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much for this interview. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah.